Hi, welcome to a bonus episode of our Stifu's Magic Pack-A-Day show. We're going to go over my my draft deck from Conspiracy Take the Crown, which I used last night to win the draft, and language is not coming to me today. So you know what I'm saying. Last night I drafted this at FNM and won, so that's why I want to go over it. So step 1. Summoner's Bond. This is a conspiracy card and allows you to name 2 creatures, and whenever you cast one of the creatures, you can search for the other one in your library. This was a definite key to the deck, as you'll see. It basically gave me card advantage throughout the game. I'm pretty sure I ended every turn with 6 or 7 cards in my hand. Okay, so Summoner's Bond, I attached to the Summoner's Bond Child of Night, of which I had 5. Okay, I had 5 Child of Nights. So I started prioritizing that right away. My first pick, pack 1, was Summoner's Bond. So I started prioritizing getting a common that was a 2-drop basically, or I would have gone for maybe a 3-drop if I'd seen a lot of them, but 2-drops are really important. I'm gonna sneeze. Woo. Okay. Anyway, so I've got 5 of these, so that's a key. And then I'm going to find Vaporkin whenever I play Child of Night, and vice versa. I had 3 Vaporkins. Vaporkin is a 2/1 flyer that can only block creatures with flying. The idea being that I'm almost guaranteed to have a Child of Night in my opening hand with 5 of them in a 40-card deck, which I did. As soon as I play that, I get a Vaporkin. I play that next turn, I get a Child of Night. Child of Night brings out another Vaporkin, and so on. The Vaporkin started doing work immediately since there weren't a lot of flyers to compete with. Okay, so you see what happens there. Then, once you have 5, I mean, maybe I got, super lucky getting 5 Child of Nights. But once you have 5 of a creature, you're going to want to take conspiracy cards to get some value out of those. So I took Assemble the Rank and Vial. So creatures that you choose with that chosen name have, when this creature dies, you may pay 1 black. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. So I attach this to, guess what, Child of Night. So Child of Night basically acts as a blocker, mainly so I can continue being the Monarch in this game. Being the Monarch was important. I drew a card at the end of every turn. Child of Night was my blocker, which this conspiracy allowed it to basically become a 2/1 that will give you 2 life, possibly kill a creature, and then bring out a 2/2 zombie token. It was huge. It's awesome. I also got the Hired Heist conspiracy, which is you choose a creature, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 1. If you do, 1 blue. If you do, draw a card. So this is a good one to attach to the Vaporkin. I have 3 of them. They're flying, so they're going to attack and do damage to players. So you can see why I never had trouble having 7 cards in my hand. And let's just fill out the rest of the deck. So this was the main combo piece. I also had Caller of Gales, which allowed me to give other creatures flying. I have Shipwreck Singer, which is a flyer, but importantly, it forces opponents to attack, and then you can give those attacking creatures -1/-1, so possibly kill some stuff off. I also have as another 2-drop Sinuous Vermin, which I like the monstrosity because multiplayer formats tend to go longer and you want something to do with your mana that's valuable, such as turn a rat horror monstrous and then it will get menace, so it'll be a 5/5 with menace. Then for a 3-drop, I took this Garrulous Sycophant. Is that how you'd say that? It's a 1/4, and at the beginning of your end step, if you're the monarch, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So already we've established it's pretty easy to become the monarch when you can attack with flyers. And you'll see I've got some more cards that allow me to become the monarch. So I'm pretty sure my opponents lost at least 4 life with this thing, and I gained 4 life. That helped. Then we've got Driver of the Dead, which is a 3/2 vampire that when it dies, you can return a creature card with converted mana 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Child of Night is a good target for that, or if you happen to have lost a Vaporkin, grab one of those, or, you know, any of these that you feel like are benefiting you. So this is a good attacker. Don't care if it dies necessarily, because you can get something else back. Here's our Monarch card, Thorn of the Black Rose. It's a 1/3 with Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. So I use this to great effect. The Death Touch is a nice way to discourage opponents from attacking you. And this bomb, Archdemon of Paliano. This is the real bomb in the deck. Might be the only rare in the deck, pretty sure, if I remember right. This was a huge discouragement, you know, in the draft. I opened it in pack 3. It was my rare in pack 3, and I said, you know what, I'm going for it. So I had to draft it face up. I had to take 3 random cards, and that was a huge risk because in the 3rd pack, first pick, taking 3 random cards next, you know, you could be getting past rares that you could use at that point. You could be getting past certainly uncommons that you could use. But it was worth it for this rare because this guy did a lot of work for me in the draft. I drew so many cards that I for sure I drew him. This is a huge one, Mnemonic Wall. So I have 2 of these. This is the only 5-drop. And it's just a defender, a 0/4 defender. Nothing too exciting there, but when it enters the battlefield, you return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. This is the main use of it, and I used it to great effect to grab things like Murder. So Murder was a huge help. Eventually, in the late game, people are going to play flyers to compete with your Archdemon guy and the Vaporkins, so you just need a way to get rid of them. Murder is a good one, and you can grab it back with your 2 Mnemonic Walls. I did play it twice, despite only having 1 of them. And we've got Repulse to just get some creatures out of the way so you can attack with your flyers. Into the Void does the same thing, except 2 creatures. These 2 actually were really good because a lot of players played Council's Dilemma cards, which is where you vote. So whenever that came up, I always voted to give creatures counters because I knew I could just return them to their hand, and then they essentially didn't get to benefit from the 1/1 counters. Unnerve, just each opponent discards 2 cards. Huge value in a multiplayer game. Dismiss. So once I got out, or I did not play my Archdemon Bomb until I had enough mana to also play a Dismiss in case I needed to. I did not want someone to destroy it right away or counter it somehow. And then basically the rest of the game I kept up 4 mana at all times in case they could sweep out my 2/1 flyers. I will say no one killed a single one of my creatures in the game. Anyway, then I also had Traumatic Visions. Can fix your mana a little bit if you need a basic land, but also I used it as just a counter spell. So, and for my mana base, I also took the Dread Statuary because it's a creature land, and those are typically good in these types of formats. So there you have it. 10 minutes to talk about how to win at the Conspiracy Take the Crown draft. I would say once you've got a good priority on a common 2 or 3 drop that you can get a lot of copies of, then you need to definitely take the conspiracy cards, because they are free value. You don't have to put them in your 40 card deck. And that was a huge one. Summoner's Bond especially. That thing is awesome. It gives you card advantage and make sure you get out the creatures that you need for your win condition. Okay, I did win a few conspiracy packs, but I'll wait to open those for a special day. Okay, so talk to you next time.